What's up, Internet? Welcome once again to the Free-to-Play Cast, brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. I'm your host, Mike Vernon. This is episode 382. The numbers just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we all get older and older and older. We're doing the show live, twitch.tv/MMOBomb. We got chat ready to chime in with all of their opinions as we go. We'll, of course, bring them to you. The good ones, the good ones. The shitty ones we won't bring to you. There's never any crappy ones, though. Our chat's normally pretty good. Be good, chat. I'm watching you. I'm watching you. Be good. Old milk's hurt. Aw. We got a lot to talk about, starting with Epic Games, and then, Troy's here, so we'll talk about Bless Unleashed a little bit. Mixing the panel up today. Welcome back. It's been a while, Mr. Zach Sharps. How are you, sir?
I've been doing all right, despite what's going on in the world. But, I got a 3080 finally, so I've been happy about that.
Mine comes
had to do it in a very unconventional way, but, it is what it is.
Mine comes today. I'm super
I know.
excited.
I saw in the notes.
If the dogs go nuts during this show, it's because FedEx is at my door.
And the show will end abruptly.
Yeah, it will
Exactly.
end abruptly. Also on the line, Mr. Troy Blackburn, the noob fridge himself. What's up, sir?
Tip of the day, if you want to make a better podcast than this, you got to make one that loses more money than this. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes.
Uh-oh. 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 I don't want to lose
It's how you
money.
become successful, man. You just lose more money than the competition.
You just lose more
There you
money. Before we get to the news, though, I don't know how many of you know this, but there are multiple people in the MMO Bomb universe that are dabbling in game development to various degrees. Some have been working, like Ethos has been working on his game for quite some time now.
Mm-hmm.
That's our host of Free to Play Weekly. Follow. Then Zach Sharp's former host of Free to Play Weekly and still contributor for Odds and End First Looks and here, of course, here on the cast and stuff. Zach, with no prior gaming experience, game development experience, I should say, decided you were going to get into it, and he doesn't know I'm going to do this, but I want you guys to check this out here. This is the latest footage. And Zach, if you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing and what got you into this here before we get started with the news, so people can check out your new YouTube channel and follow the game and everything.
Yeah, thank you. So Now the Forgotten Realm is essentially like a part one of a two-part project I'm working on called Project Eternals. It's a 2.5D or I think 3.5D. I've heard the term thrown around lately. Side-scroller action RPG that is essentially set in a war-torn land that was once peaceful, but then everything was thrown awry by a coup d'etat that was done by a very distraught, brutal.
Troy's like enraptured by your footage. I can see him watching his stream.
Anyhow, by a brutal now tyrant Typherius, who essentially set off on a crusade across the land to rid the knowledge of the Eternals, because he had a lot of stuff happened in his backstory that made him hate the Eternals and their judgments. And so he set off to eliminate any knowledge of them. Eternals are essentially godlike beings that are part of the world, and they try and steer the ship, if you will. So this story is essentially heading east. You are accompanied by an Eternal. It all happens the first 5 minutes, so don't worry, no spoilers. And you're heading off east to essentially hunt down an ancient relic that will aid in the Eternals and trying to turn the tide against Typherius.
30 seconds of footage. Chat says it's already more developed than Chronicles of Illyria.
That's true. It's true. And quite honestly, it's one of those things where I've already actually redid a lot of the combat system since that trailer launched, and also have expanded greatly in other areas too. So if you want to toss my YouTube channel a follow, you can find the 6 months recap of game development video by going to my Twitter. It's pinned as the top tweet, and make sure to subscribe.
Yeah, you got your LLC running. There you go, chat. put the Twitter there for you. You can find everything else directly off of the Twitter. But yeah, good on you. Good on you. There's also some other stuff going on from other people in the team, but we're not ready to say anything publicly about that stuff yet. I might have been working on something for a very long time now. So will it ever see the light of day? I don't know. We'll see.
Fantasy Star Online 3.
Yes, I'm making PSO 3, and I will not put it on the Microsoft Windows Store. All right, gentlemen. Zach, good luck with the project. Obviously, keep us posted. Give it a follow. Sir. Check it out, and we'll be sure to keep everybody posted because I'm sure it's going to be free to play, right? Totally free to play, 100%. You don't want to make a dime on this. You're not interested in money.
Close. Close. I'm thinking $3 at this time. This is for the first one. So the alpha's free.
Troy's
all the alphas will be free.
Troy's like $3. Screw it. I'm out. I'm out.
Man, you had me up until $3.
I could go kickstart something for less than that. Let's go ahead and get started with the news. Well, we're closing $3. How about $1.50? Says K-Max. You got $1.50.
Maybe doing your Steam sale.
Yeah. Summer sale, $1.50. Yeah, so we're closing in, by the way, on the whole Epic Games Apple lawsuit. You know, we're going to have preliminary stuff happening in early May where the big wigs will be testifying or giving depositions or giving testimony, and away we go with that whole lawsuit. Well, as a result of some of the documents already filed back and forth, both here in the United States, in Australia, and in some other places, we're learning quite a bit about not just Apple, but also Epic, who is the prosecution in this particular case. And we're learning some less than flattering opinions of Epic by the Apple team. They're not being gentle, nor, I guess, would you expect them to be, since they're on the receiving end of this type of lawsuit. But what we've learned this past week is some of the actual numbers behind the Epic Games Store. And from Apple's perspective, and then, of course, Epic had to reply and give their take on this. Now, I'm going to say something shocking that I'm sure none of us on the panel expected. The Epic Game Store is not making money.
I'm sure
I'm sure all three of us are just absolutely stunned by this, that an upstart game distribution platform at an 88 and 12% revenue split and going after exclusives like there's no tomorrow to get them away from Steam. I'm sure you are all amazed to hear that is not, at this time, a profitable venture. Gasp, indeed, chat. Gasp, indeed. So I don't think that's the surprise for anybody. What I think might be the surprise for some people is exactly how much not profitable it is, Troy, and when it could maybe expect to turn a profit. Apple saying, hey, they're losing hundreds of millions of dollars in this venture, and we don't expect them to be profitable until at least 2027. So 6 more years from now. Now, Epic's counterclaim on this isn't, no, we're not losing that much. You've got the numbers wrong. Epic's only real counter to this is, actually, we're going to be profitable in 2023. So they think, 4 years earlier. We are talking, gentlemen, hundreds of millions of dollars. They're going to lose another $139 million from Epic's perspective just this year alone. And they've already lost $444 million in minimum guarantees just for games on the Epic Games Store in 2020 alone. Just 2020. These are staggeringly big numbers, but other companies have played this long game before. Most notably, of course, would be Amazon, who Amazon's profits they're very, very big numbers, but they could be exponentially bigger if they charged rates on par with the rest of the world, the rest of the consumer industry. But they started, and to this day, have gone after market share over profits. And so they turn what would be a marginal profit on bajillions of sales versus a larger profit on just a few million sales. So we've seen the long game, and this happens in industries all across the board. But here's my question for you guys, and let's talk about this a little bit. Troy, I'm going to let you go first because you kind of already segued into this in the intro about losing money. Does it make sense for Epic to be playing a long game here? And to what degree should they play it if it makes sense to do?
I believe if they're truly going to be successful, that they're going the proper route to do so. If you're just going to launch a platform that is basically the same thing as Steam, same profit margins, same cut to the developers, you're going to lose. Steam is way too big to just go at them like that. So what are they doing instead? They're going for the throat. They don't want this game store just to be profitable. They want to be the game store. They want to, if not put Steam out of business, become the big dog and make Steam number 2. That's what they're going for. They don't want a few $1 million here and there. They want all of the money, and this is the route they're taking to do it. Much like Amazon, as you mentioned earlier. Right now, Amazon doesn't care as much about profit. They want everybody else to go away. And if Amazon charged all the same prices and everything was the same as other sites you could go to, I wouldn't go to Amazon every day. I would shop around and use other sites, whoever's the best at the moment. So what they're looking for is to cut the throat, be the big dog at the end of the day, be the one left standing.
Like, it's not a huge in-depth strategy, Zach, right? I mean, a lot of businesses do this, right? Walmart, you know what? I'm going to charge $2 less, but I'm going to sell 100 bajillion more of them, and so I'm going to make more than my competitors. So we're not exactly talking rocket science here. And we are talking about the Epic Games Store exclusively, not Epic as a company, right?
Yeah.
When we throw these numbers around, 444 million, this is all in relationship to the Epic Games Store, not Epic as an entity by itself. But there is a danger if you play the long game, A, too long, or B, to too much of a degree, that it never pans out. And you start, what's the saying, throwing bad money or good money after bad money, right? Trying to turn something around. And so there is an inherent danger, because the Epic Game Store is not Epic as an entity, that other areas could suffer potentially if something goes wrong with this acquisition plan.
Yeah, and that's something that I initially worried about, and I still somewhat do the longer it goes on. And the reason why short term has kind of been alleviated is, I'm sure we'll talk about in the investment round. But when it really comes down to it, as someone with now stock in Epic Games Health, because I use Unreal Engine for my game, and I don't want Unreal Engine to be suffering because of the Epic Games Store, which in my view will never be successful to the degree that Epic wants it to be. I look at it as a long play that was very much done in a way that was going to be not so successful from the start. You have a company, Epic Games, that a lot of people liked prior to this, that all they really had to do is launch a particular launcher with at least 80% of the features of Steam, and then maybe have some exclusive indie games on there that looked really impressive just to draw people over. But instead they went sort of the route, and then also the free games, and then the cut as well being reduced. But instead they went for the throat, in the sense that they also tried to pull over AAA games, some of which that were already announced and selling for Steam, and that immediately turned people against them. There was of course the China trade war going on around the announcement too. So of course there was some anti-China stuff going on at that time too, that fueled it. But they could have avoided a lot of this by being less heavy-handed, at least until they had some features that people wanted or liked about their particular launcher. Because right now I would compare the Epic Games Store more to a prison facility than an actual launcher, meaning that you visit it to, have, a chat with your friends or whatever, aka the exclusives, and then you leave because there's no value that launcher adds to your life or the particular moment in time. So it's it's not really a venture I see succeeding, which is why I'm glad that they're still getting good investments and investment rounds. But what I worry about is Tim Sweeney losing his controlling shareholder position, because I think that Tim Sweeney is the right person to run Epic Games. I just think that his arrogance from being successful with Fortnite is driving a play that is not as profitable as Fortnite was.
Yeah, and anytime you start any business venture, you automatically plan to lose money, right? If you're going to start a small business, Troy, you probably don't expect to actually draw a personal salary, let alone turn a profit on that company for years, depending on what type of business it is, maybe a year or two, maybe 5 or 6 years.
Most people usually say 3 to 5. Don't expect to.
Yeah, depends on the scale that you're going to start with. But your years is a good generalization of just getting a salary for yourself. Not even counting, making a profit and things like that. So again, not surprised that Epic Games is in the hole, particularly how aggressively, like Zach, you pointed out, they went after exclusives, which are multi-million-dollar contracts to pull those things in. And when you do that over and over and over again, that price adds up. I agree with you, though. I think the launcher itself, the platform itself, has a long way to go before it is competitive. Yeah, the revenue sharing makes it competitive. The exclusives make it a destination, but then the platform doesn't really give you much incentive besides the game itself to actually stick around. We need to see those gamifications of systems, right? The Steam achievements, hell, I would be happy with just some functionality that isn't there as far as searching or finding things. Like, it is not exactly easy to find certain things on the Epic Games Store. If you know exactly what title you're looking for, fine. But if you don't and you're just kind of browsing, it can be challenging to narrow in sometimes. So I do want to see a lot of improvement here.
And that's the thing. I don't even browse on it. Like, I go when I have to, but if I'm just browsing and I'm looking for something, I go other places. I never open the Epic Store just to browse and see what's out there, ever.
Yeah, it's too minimalistic.
That's fair. Like, the only things I use it for, obviously, Rocket League, because I did not buy it on Steam. I didn't start playing till it was free to play, so I'm locked on the Epic Games Store if I want to play on PC. And then to claim the free things every Thursday, many of which I haven't even downloaded, but I just go to claim it. I own that.
And sometimes I end up buying them on a Steam sale because I forgot I had them on Epic.
Yep.
So here's the long term. Like, obviously, they just had, as Zach, you alluded to, they just had a huge another funding cycle. They secured an additional $1 billion in funding, $200 million from Sony, which already is a heavy investor in Epic and their technology. So money and cash on hand isn't the problem. But when you get into bed with Sony, when you get into bed with Tencent, there is an expectation from your bedfellows that you do not throw their good money after bad money. How patient do those big dogs like Tencent and Sony, how patient are they going to be on this, particularly when Sony has its own publishing relationships that aren't an 88-12 split and is really watching the Apple Epic lawsuit very curiously to see what might happen down the road for them, Zach?
Well, what's funny too is Days Gone is launching on Steam, and they even put the Steam link above the Epic link on the Twitter announcement. So even though Sony's chucking a ton of money at Epic Games Store, I think they even realize that no one really wants to go to the Epic Games Store for anything. And since Sony's key driver of putting games on PC is money, they know that Steam is the cash cow. They've already released a decent bit of games on Steam and know that, Steam is the kingmaker. It's not at the Epic Games Store. So yeah, it's just, I was very happy though to see that Sony and teachers' pensions were funding this round instead of seeing Tencent's name pop up.
Yeah.
And I think that was the case for their last round too, that Tencent didn't contribute more money. So it almost makes me think that Tencent, unless the controlled shareholder position was capturable, I don't think that they're that interested in providing more funding for the Epic Games Store. And that's good, I think, because I don't want a game store that's ruled by Tencent. That's going to be taking on Steam. I'd rather it stay with Tim Sweeney. and that's pretty much it.
Here's the thing, though. We have all clamored for a Steam competitor for years now. Regardless of how much you might like Steam, and I like Steam quite a bit.
Yep.
I really don't have too many problems with Steam. Now, Valve or Gabe Newell themselves occasionally say or do something stupid, but Sweeney also occasionally says things that are really, really stupid. The arrogance plays into it. But we always have, as a market, wanted a competitor. And unfortunately, there aren't too many deep pockets that would be able at this point to become a viable competitor for Steam. I think Epic is probably the best shot, but I don't know if it actually becomes a viable competitor because Chad is basically agreeing with us. You might go for the game, but you don't stay. I sit with Steam open and chat with Zach while we're playing two totally different games. And yeah, you can use Discord and Steam and Epic and to do all that, but it's all so convenient and in one place, and aggregated review scores and Steam achievements and cards. And it's just a good platform right now.
And complete games too. Heard about that story.
Yeah.
Different versions.
So here's the deal. Do you think Epic or Apple is closer on when it would be profitable? If you think it'll be profitable in either of those timelines, who's closer? Price is right it for us. And what happens if it does turn a profit? Do we still continue to get the free games at the rate that we get them now? Does the revenue sharing stay the rate it is now? Or once they have turned profitable, are we now seeing a little more tight-fistedness out of Epic, Troy?
I don't think profitable is good enough for them. Like I said earlier, I think they want to be king of the mountain. So initially, if they become profitable, I don't think we see a lot of changes until they try. If they could ever become, which I don't think they could, bigger than Steam, then you would start seeing changes in the sharing margins with game companies and the free things we get and stuff like that. Naturally, you would see differences in that. Who's closer to being correct on when they would be profitable? I think they're both off by a probably large margin. I think Epic's delusional. I think at this point they'd be profitable by 2023. Nothing's going to change that much in 2 years. I would say Apple's closer without going over, but I'd say that's still short.
Yeah, my phone was ringing. It is Epic calling. They don't like they're like, hey, what don't you like about this damn store? What don't you like?
Hello.
Hire me.
How are you today?
Yeah, hire me and I will tell you exactly what I don't like and exactly what you should do. Zach, so Troy leans a little more towards Google, but probably saying Google's even underestimating.
Google, you mean Apple?
Apple. Sorry.
Yeah.
Or do you tend to agree?
Yeah, it depends how you define profitable. Are we talking about profitable with the same amount of expenses, or are we talking about scaling back expenses significantly to where
I think it would have to be.
with?
I think what would end up happening is both would happen simultaneously as you approach.
No, the amount of expenses I'm talking about would be a drastic dip in expenses. Like no more exclusivity deals.
Yeah, they're not going
to
make
that. Some money.
I think what would happen is as they start to close in on, hey, we could be profitable if we didn't pick up these last two contracts this year. I think that's when you start to see a shift. I don't think they're going to start spending less right now. I think that train's going and isn't going to stop. Until things start getting closer and they say, hey, if we don't pick this title up, we'll make $1 this year.
Yeah, I would say if they're lucky, it's going to be around where Apple is saying it's going to be in 2027, but I just don't see it succeeding. There's really no reason other than game developers themselves as to why Epic Games Store is needed. Pretty much every person that I know who plays games on PC doesn't really care that Steam has a higher percentage developer cut than Epic Games Store. They just want to have all their games in one place. They want all their friends in one place. They want a functioning launcher with a lot of different features. And the switching costs of going over to the Epic Games Store are so insurmountable that it's going to be a very tough battle for EGS to overcome.
I do like seeing the EGS from a developer standpoint, though. Like it is, man, if I'm a smaller developer, I really want to be on Steam, but shit, if they're going to take 30%, I'm going to have to mark my game up a couple of extra bucks because I can't afford to just eat that cost. I do like the competition that EGS creates.
I do
You gotta know
Long-term,
Sony loves that too, because look at the sheer number of sales they make, and look at that percentage difference from 30 to 12. How many millions, tens of millions of dollars is that for Sony? That's a big deal for a big company.
That's true. I just don't
Whole
think gamers
Whole
care.
Milk bringing it up that if I agree with you. I don't think generally gamers as a whole care. I think there are the people like us that look at the front end and the back end, or gamers and also looking at the back end.
As
stuff
a consumer, I do not care. It is your job as the game company to come up with the best situation for you. As a consumer, I'm going to go to the best platform with the best deals and the best situation for me. I don't care what your split is.
Exactly.
Yep. But Whole Milk brings up the elephant in the room. If Steam ever cut their percentage, and they do, by the way, for very, very high volume things, there is a slightly different revenue split than 70-30. So we should call that out. Doesn't help indie developers or people like Zach and his game or anything like that. But for Sony's and Square Enix's and stuff like that, those multi-million-dollar unit movers, there is a slightly different revenue split there. If Steam decided to do something different, I don't even think they had to do 88-12, but I think if they did something a little different, maybe an 80-20,
and then
or
have
something
the 12
like
be
that.
reserved for AAA with high volume.
Right. Yeah, I think EGS is dead
coffin.
in the water at that point. At that point. We'll see. We will definitely keep an eye on it, and we're really going to be interested in how this lawsuit shakes out. We'll have initial reporting from, I'm sure, Mr. Winter in early May as that gets started. Let's move over and talk about another big dog in the gameverse, in the game world, the game piece, the game something.
You just make them words up, baby. Let's go.
I just keep making them up. Let's go.
Keep going, Mike.
The gamification-ness. Xbox. Let's talk about Xbox. So, we talked briefly a few episodes ago about, it looks like the Xbox Gold subscription was not going to be required for free-to-play games anymore. Now, but we had no idea when. We had no idea when that was going to happen. We didn't get dates. We didn't even get like a summer 2021, like nothing. Just, we're looking at that. Well, now it looks like it's probably pretty close. So if you are a member of Xbox Omega, which is really dumb naming and always has been in my
because I had to
mind.
look up what that was. Like,
and what it is, like I'm a member of it, but so basically it's an update preview club. If you're an Xbox owner and you use that stuff and you're part of Xbox Omega, you are kind of the testing grounds for different things that they're going to implement feature wide. So why it's called Omega does not make sense.
Is it bad that my initial thought was that was something extra y'all were paying for?
No, no, we're not.
Because that's what it sounded like. I was like, okay, so you got this gold, then you got Omega.
Omega is the last, right? Omega is the last. Why is the first people that get to test things referred to as the? We have a word for that. It's called alpha. Anyway, terrible naming aside, Xbox Omega, their kind of update package, they no longer require the gold membership. So multiplayer in free-to-play games, looking for groups and party chat on Xbox no longer requires an Xbox Live Gold membership for Omega users as we flight and test these service changes ahead of general availability. Now, generally, these types of changes don't sit in Omega for very long. So we could be seeing that gold membership not required for free-to-play games pretty soon here, like within the next month or two. Would be my personal estimate, not any inside knowledge or anything. Thank God. I mean, this has been like way too long in the coming, Troy. We have talked on many a cast about how it is so stupid that anytime we cover something free to play on the Xbox, we have to put a disclaimer in the piece that Xbox Gold is required to play a free-to-play game. Like the unnecessary paywalling, and granted, dollars to donuts, it's not all that expensive when you map it out on a monthly basis or anything like that. But it's always been dumb that it's been there. Wargaming hated it. Remember a while ago when Wargaming was like, oh yeah, we're bringing stuff to the Xbox, and don't worry, we're schooling them on how free-to-play should be done. That actually didn't happen, but now it is going to happen. Honestly, it should have happened years ago, Troy. Years ago.
Oh, yeah, this is so far past due. It's 2021, man. This is ridiculous.
You don't like paying for your own internet?
Right? Like I'm already paying for the internet, and then I pay for the right to use the internet to play a free-to-play game. What?
Sony figured hell, even Nintendo figured it out before Microsoft did. That's saying something, Zach, because Nintendo with multiplayer things is usually way behind everybody else.
If
Remember
Nintendo
Friends
changed their mind
codes?
about something before you did, you should be embarrassed.
Yep.
Friends codes. Oh God. But I will be delighted, Zach, that we no longer have to put this on those pieces anymore.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Microsoft's doing something that should have never even been in place to begin with. So I'm not even going to congratulate them on that. It's just kind of what it should have been the case for a really long time.
Game Pass is killing it, though. Game Pass is absolutely killing
I actually will be subscribing at full price for a second month in a row here soon. They got me.
Game Pass is killing it. Just killing it. Also on the Xbox, since we're talking about free-to-play, you Warframe fans finally have your own dedicated Xbox Series X/S client. You no longer have to just play the old Xbox One version on your new Series X or S. So that comes with the Call of the Tempestari update as well. So now you got PC, PS4, 5, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and now the Xbox Series X and S. But it wouldn't be a show with Noob Fridge if we didn't also talk about Bless Unleashed, baby, which also started on the Xbox. It's going to be having its PC beta last beta test as we get closer to the PC launch. And I know, Troy, you are just absolutely ecstatic at this possibility. Ecstatic.
Any rational human being would have quit this show by now. This is ridiculous. It's 2021. Why are we still talking about things that have Bless in the name?
How are you not excited about
this? Look at this hot garbage that you people who bought Bless Online paid for.
Oh, come on. It was mostly Russian gamers that paid for this because they were paying for Bless Online for a number of years before they were just like, yeah, even the publisher was like, send this back. We're done. We're done. Send this back. I honestly, I have so mixed feelings about Bless Unleashed. Yeah, I do feel like the Bless Online people got hosed, including me. It still to this day is the only thing I've ever refunded on Steam. Is Bless Online, my Founders Pack purchase. And Bless Unleashed, initially on the Xbox, Zach tweeted about this just recently, gave me such good vibes because of the nostalgia hits. It is very grindy and you're going to earn what you go for. And I really like that. It harkened back to my Final Fantasy 11 days, my EverQuest 1 or 2 days, where when I got that piece of gear, I was like, sweet, I got it. It quickly devolves into way more grind than I felt it needed to be. It wasn't nostalgic anymore. You could check out some streams where literally we mob grinded for 2.5 hours before we could open up a story quest again. So it wasn't for me at that point, but it's a mixed bag, a mixed feeling things for me, Zach.
Yeah, I was hyped until you mentioned that your view on it sort of changed. But now I'm just very cautiously, not even fully optimistic. I mean, I'll download it, but I'm not really expecting too much other than better than Bless Online, which was pretty hot garbage at launch. So yeah, I don't know. It's on the list of games I'm anticipating. It's pretty much on the bottom, but I'll try it, I guess. Might as well.
Should not even be on a list of games you're anticipating. This company has done nothing.
I am so starved, Troy, of MMOs.
I know, and that's the only reason that this company keeps getting away with this crap.
I know. It's bad. It's bad.
Thank you.
Troy, you got a
think
little
want it, but
angst. You
don't,
got a
know.
little angst in you. A little angst.
You don't want this. You don't need this. There's nothing about this. This is, oh my God.
And Jason's right. Like you like the grind, and then I think it's too grindy. Said the guy before quitting before the game because it was grinding. Yeah, I did enjoy the grind, and then it just like exponentially got out of control for me. And there are people that I like. I've watched some Bless Unleashed streams of more end game content or more advanced, because I think we got to, what was it, chat? We got to like level 30 or 31 or something like
this
that.
Game actually has an end game.
And some of the dungeons, I'm like, I would really like to give that a whirl, but yeah.
God,
They kind of lost me when I had to spend 2 hours just killing monsters, running around just killing monsters, because there was no other way for me to gain experience or to try and do like the little events that popped up when they popped up while in the middle of farming monsters. We spent like a 2.5 hour stream just doing that, and I was like, oh, okay, now you've gone a little too slow for me, and I don't have this kind of time investment that I once did back in my Final Fantasy 11 days. So if you're looking for an old school hit, Zach, this will hit you in the old school feels. But how long you stay is probably going to be the more pertinent question.
That's exactly what they said about WildStar too. It will hit you in the old school feels. Where's that at now?
Ouch. Wow. I think Mike he might need to sign off after that one.
Yeah. I mean, do you need to go get a glass of water? Like, you all right?
Good.
Somebody give this dude some aspirin. Like, he's in a rough spot. Finally, last piece of news this week. I just feel like this keeps happening, right? Team Fortress 2 bots are, in a bad spot right now. Players getting harassed by bots over and over and over and over again. But hey, if you contact them and you pay them some money, those bots will put you on a whitelist and no longer kill you. So that's cool. Like if you want to spend a little extra cash on not dying in that game due to bots, you could do that. So that's fun. But also, yeah, some of the bots are advertising links to child pornography now, or what they're calling CP. Very clever acronym. Very clever. Nobody will know what you're talking about. Whether the links and profiles, and this is according to Eurogamer, whether the links and profiles did actually host those types of images could not be verified. And I agree with Jason when he wrote this up. They probably shouldn't be verified. Like
nobody wanted to click it to find out.
Yeah, let's go ahead and not click those things to find out exactly what's there. So yeah, we've gone from, like, I just feel like this keeps happening. A few years ago, Zach, wasn't there like a huge hubbub where Valve had to step in because bots were like screaming racist things in chat over and over and over again? Valve stepped in and like modified how you could use chat as a new account, but then the bots figured out a way around that by making their screen names and stuff racist. Like, it just keeps happening. We don't have any action on Valve's behalf on this one yet. I would imagine, though, that there will be action taken pretty quickly when you start getting into illegal activities versus just racist and annoying and aggravating activities.
Oh, most certainly. And it's one of those problems that, and this is why games that are somewhat populated shut down over time, is because like you have to think about these things and you have to manage these things. And I'm sure Valve's kind of like looking at Team Fortress 2 like, is it just too much of a problem? Like, can we just like give it the axe and just get rid of it?
They don't do anything with it anymore. So
I know, but you have to monitor it for this type of stuff because you're liable if something like this happens on your platform. So I don't know. Like, I don't think Team Fortress 2 will die anytime soon, but I'm just saying like that's a component of why this is even a thing to begin with, is it's not a lot of support staff on it.
It makes money. I mean, that's it. Yeah. The skins and hats, and people love hats. People love hats, Troy. So they get into Team Fortress 2 and get their hat fix for a couple of bucks. But every time you turn around, there's like this game that doesn't get any development anymore that a lot of people still play. I mean, it is still insanely popular. Maybe not what it once was, but still is insanely popular. Makes money. we got racist bots. We got bots that are €500. We'll whitelist you and we won't kill you anymore, Troy. Or hey, are you looking for some child pornography? I got you covered here. Or we had the gambling fiasco with the Team Fortress 2 skins and everything. Like, you never hear good Team Fortress 2 press anymore. It's just never good.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things that Jason Winter has written in a long time is at the end of his article about this. And he's it was along the lines of, he's sure that Valve can't wait for the community to step up and do something about this. That is so Valve. Like, that is so Valve.
Like the Dota community making their own new player tutorial. All these years later, finally, there's a tutorial. You got to play 30 matches before you have access to customs, but whatever. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll keep you posted on if Valve... I mean, I'd imagine Valve has to do something on this front. It's flat out illegal activity that your servers are hosting if the links that they are providing provide what they purport to provide. That was a lot of provide. On that note, let's slide over to the weekly bombs. Jason saying he doesn't remember even writing that.
That's unfortunate. That was good stuff, man.
Let's see. The question is now, what will Valve do about it? While it did take some actions to address the earlier bot issues, like placing restrictions on new free-to-play accounts, this would seem to represent an entirely new category of reprehensible behavior and one that Valve can't wait for the community to enact measures against. So yeah, you did say it. I think Troy took it a little differently than it's read, but yeah, you did say it. Do you smell burnt toast, Jason? Are you okay? Like, are you all right? There's nothing burning in the apartment, right? In the house. Go ahead, Zach. You can go first.
Yeah, I'm going to give a bomb to Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. I watched a good bit of gameplay, and I'm very excited to play it this year. Stefaro, I think is the channel name, drops a lot of content on foreign titles, and it just looks it looks what I sort of envision Phantasy Star Online 2, like a modern day version of it, being that it's open world, has a little bit better graphics, and still retains a lot of that sort of charm that the current version has. So looking forward to that. And since I haven't been on here for a while, bomb to the rumors of Lost Ark releasing this year too. I cannot wait to drop $150+ if they have a good value founders pack for that game, because I really want to play it again because I loved it so much on the RU servers.
New Genesis, by the way, getting its first global beta. It's only going to be a 2-day weekend type thing, but you can sign up for that if you want to. I can't wait as well. I'm right there with you. I'm going to give a bomb. Hopefully, it's a FedEx. Real-time status updates. Hold on. Real-time status updates. Let's do review purchase.
They're in his driveway. We're done.
Yeah. This will be the end of the show. Track your order. Here we go. Scheduled delivery Friday, April 16th by 8 p.m. So still there. 12:27 p.m. on FedEx vehicle for delivery.
Oh, that's the one you want.
That's the one I want. My new desktop arrives today, and I'm very excited. I didn't need to upgrade this one, but like Zach, I wanted to upgrade some pieces, and I was like, things are getting hard to get, so let's do it this way. Ordered a pre-built and swap some pieces out. Now, Zach, you actually get to sell your unit. I got to give mine to the daughter. And I'm like, congratulations, 14-year-old. You can play Fortnite at 240 frames per second because you have a monster rig. But yeah, I'm sure she'll love it. So bomb to my new PC arriving today. Go ahead, Troy.
Bomb to Zach's game for looking exponentially better than anything Bless has ever done or will ever do, and for looking better than that IKEA game that Mike tried to tell us was so good. That Battle Royale
I didn't say it was so good.
Yeah, wait.
I said I liked the concept.
Oh my god!
What game?
It's in development. We got really early alpha footage of it. It's a battle royale that basically takes place in a faux IKEA store. And
why?
So
it
the whole
cool,
place
right?
is like a maze, and all the furniture is destructible, and
No, there's some crates that you can throw around. And you get on top of the walls, so the whole maze,
that was like the weirdest part of the footage. We're like, well, wait,
matter.
if you could get on top of the walls, doesn't matter that it's an IKEA anymore.
Right?
Okay.
So
Ninja
dumb.
Panda's in chat giving the same bomb Troy did. Bomb to Zach's game, as it'll be universally better than that Bless game. Terra Nova, bomb for Genshin Impact on PS5, getting a release date. And Terra Nova also housing. Their stream is actually, I think their stream just wrapped up. Q will be writing a piece together, but she is all kind of pumped about Genshin Impact's housing. Jason Winter, A-bomb to me for shifting my PT appointments to Thursday, so I'm not around to bug Troy during his stream. From the viewers, Whole Milk says, bomb to Guild Wars 2 and their Super Adventure Festival event. Excuse me. I just jumped back into the game after a long time away, and this event may be one of my favorite MMO events ever. In fact, it's put me back on the Guild Wars 2 hype, and I'm now playing daily. A-bomb to CSGO. The game's been running for 11 years, and yet we still don't have 128 tick servers or a viable method of anti-cheating/cheating deterrent. I've personally invested over 1,000 hours in the game, but I won't play competitive matchmaking again until they can guarantee a smooth experience and finally deal with the influx of hackers. And I am sure there are many that are all aboard with your A-bomb there. Go ahead, Zach.
Misfit Rain says, the bomb to whoever mentioned Ready Player One last week. I love that movie. Was not the best movie or story, but it had so many small things in it that made me laugh and smile throughout the whole movie, pertaining to so many different games. Movie was good till Mechagodzilla came out. Movie became great.
Yeah, so last week, or 2 weeks ago, we gave the question of the week, what was your favorite video game movie adaptation? So we went through all the answers last week. What about you two, Troy? What's your favorite movie video game adaptation?
Oh,
or are you
God.
just holding out for that Bless movie?
Has there really been a good one? I mean, Ready Player One.
It doesn't matter if it's good. It's what's your favorite one.
seen.
Mine was terrible. Like, I love the Resident Evil movies. They're awful, but I love them. But I absolutely love them. Stuff like that, whatever. Zach, you got one?
Not really. I'm kind of in the same.
Come on, you like House
camp,
of the
Troy.
Dead. You love U-Bowl.
Dude,
I mean, I would, if I were to say one, I did enjoy the first couple Resident Evil movies.
Yeah, see, there you
But
go. What
then
about the
they
Hitman
started
movies,
cutting
Troy?
so much that I started getting sick watching them. Like, I think the last one I watched, there was probably 50,000 cuts throughout the entire thing. It was awful. But
what is with Gen Z trying to say that the Super Mario Brothers movie is good now? By the way, I have
the
started seeing
Super
that everywhere.
Mario?
from the
Oh,
younger
yeah,
generation.
That's a huge
I know there's
That
an Angry
movie
Birds
is
one.
Trash.
Yeah. They're
There's
making
nothing
another one. They're
redeemable
making
about that
another
movie.
one. Yeah, they're working on one right now, actually, a new Super Mario
Y'all
Brothers
killing
movie.
me.
Go ahead, Troy.
Box says weekly bomb, giving a bomb and a bomb to the newer Battlefront 2. Had a blast playing the current version with friends over last weekend, but also still mad that EA tried to EA this game into the ground. Also, to answer a question mentioned before, my room ceiling is pretty low, not super low, but low enough to where if I reach up, I can easily touch my ceiling.
So that comes from a few weeks ago, gentlemen. Box giving feedback on playing VR and damaging his ceiling and ceiling fan while playing in VR. So we were like, how tall are you? Because in our minds, ceiling fan and a ceiling's 8 feet or 10 feet off the floor. But yeah, apparently it's smaller. In chat, Guardian Veil, bomb to Path of Exile, new league, let the gambling begin. A-bomb to Jason Winter, the professional curmudgeon, for making us highlighting our messages in chat. It just makes it easier for me to see them real quick for this segment. Damn, bunch of curmudgeons in chat. Jason's got all of his family and friends there. They're all being curmudgeon-y. RS Jabber, bomb to the ARPG hack and slash genre. The future looks promising with fantastic looking Path of Exile 2, Ultimatum League around the corner, well-polished Diablo 2 Resurrected, and Diablo 4 sometime next year, hopefully. Both veterans and newcomers have lots to look forward to. And RS Jabber, Zach is going to jab you for not including Lost Ark on that list. Go ahead, Zach.
This one kind of, so I feel like I've heard his name pronounced on the cast before as Rigordy, but
Raggerty.
reading the rest of his comment,
Raggerty.
I'm not sure.
Raggerty.
Is it Raggerty? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Raggerty.
All right. The bomb to the cast pronouncing my name correctly. Not that it's too hard. The other name I use is RGZ Man. Yeah, in my head, it's RGZ Man, but when I donate to streams or a streamer reads the name, it's Riggsman, or the best one I got so far is Rigazor Man. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like my full last name. Everyone just combines it all into one, and it sounds like a bunch of gibberish. And then I'm like, it's 2 last names, people. Like, it's not too difficult. There's a hyphen there. And
I will tell
what's
you
hyphen?
that like reading new names in chat is just like one of my favorite things to do, whether I'm streaming here or on Ready Check Radio. Like, okay, Old Glory. Okay, that one's not hard. It's Old Glory. Hey, how you doing, Old Glory? Then you get one in there, and you're just like, I have no idea. I'm gonna grab letters 8, 9, 10, and 11, and call you Tim. You know, I just love like which part of somebody's name am I going to grab because I have no idea. Yeah, pyre round. Jason Winter, got to get the dig in at Zach for
Of
pure
course.
round. Pyre round, pure round. I hope Pi sees this episode. Go ahead, Troy.
Guest lead, double ump to Jason for slurping noises in Enlisted. Gameplay first look at 12 minutes and 24 seconds. I was listening in the background and it took me by surprise and got a giggle out of me.
Yeah, so the Enlisted first look video is up. It's a bit longer. Jason went into depth on a lot of different aspects of the game. Gaijin Entertainment's new World War II free-to-play game. Check it out. We did put timestamps in this one because it is like 45 minutes long or so you can jump to particular things if you want to. You don't want to sit there and watch the whole thing. And we apologize. We had to take it down and repost it. There was a mistake in the rendering. 60 FPS footage was rendered at 30, and it's obviously caused blurring. So we had to get that fixed and do a re-render. But it is up now. We didn't talk about it or do a review on it on this show. We'll do that the next time Jason Winter is on. So go check it out. It's available on YouTube now. Question of the week last week. Tell us the free, and I want you gentlemen, you two to answer this too. Tell us the free-to-play game you've played the most, but refuse to spend money in. So it doesn't have to be like the one you've actually played the most, but the one you've played the most but didn't spend money in, and why. We'll let you two think about it for a second. Warframe. It's not because I don't think the game deserves my money. Rather, the game never makes me feel like I have to put money into it. I've gained numerous premium items via in-game grinding or giveaways and have never felt the urge to front cash for a prime frame. I'll just get it later for free at some point. There are quite a few games in my library that fit that bill, and Warframe is one of them, to the point where like I actually go out of my way to find something to spend some money on. Like if I'm playing Warframe that much and I appreciate being able to get, like I throw them $50 and just buy a bunch of plat that I, never freaking use. It just sits there. But yeah, I could totally understand that one whole milk where a great game, you just don't feel the need to spend. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, so Japan's Freak said, Perfect World, I used to play that game a lot back in the day, but I refused to give a dime to them because of the monetization shenanigans Perfect World as a company still does to this day. Am I right, Mike? How's it going with Neverwinter?
Yeah, they do still have to. I mean, the shenanigans have backed off a little bit, but yeah, they're still. Go look at Magic Legends. There's some dumb monetization choices in there. By the way, check it out. Jason will be writing it up. He might already have it on the site. I've been doing the cast, so I don't know. But Perfect World did announce a PC and mobile. They announced a bunch of stuff, but we don't know how much of it's going to be free to play. We covered that earlier this week. Perfect New World for PC and mobile. So you can check that information out on the website now. Go ahead, Troy.
Box question of the week. There's technically 2 contenders for that title for me, since I never so much as threw a dime into either, but played the heck out of both when they were around. First one being Bloodline Champions, and the second being its spiritual successor, Battle Right. I love both games, even though I disagree with all the bad decisions the developers took when it came to running both. Real shame they're gone, but at least I still have all the good memories from my time with them.
Yeah, they were gone pretty quick, too, like relatively speaking. Misfit Rain, question of the week. I played the heck out of AFK Arena on my phone. Absolutely could not stand the paywall chance of getting a match of your lineup, so never threw a dime. I did the daily and weekly content to get a chance a match like 2 or so times a week. Eventually, that even made me stop playing. I almost hate all mobile games except my Final Fantasy Tactics I bought for $5.99. Still love that game. LOL. Yeah, that's a great game. Zach.
TCal2399 says, I would say the game that I've played the most without spending money on it was Marvel Heroes. I played it a good bit off and on over the years because it was fun, so I racked up a good amount of hours with it. I never spent money on it because I just don't believe in spending money in games outside of box price and or sub.
Yeah, you must have
Fair
played
point.
it a little while after launch too, because initially their monetization was horrid. The way to unlock the other heroes, it was initially just awful. Go ahead, Troy.
Sogapek says, Magic Man, you forgot the Hitman movie.
I did forget to mention the Hitman movie on last week's question of the week. Well, which one? I guess I should say, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Also says, I played 2,000 plus hours of Dota and never spent a dime. I feel bad about it, but in my defense, I was in college and so fucking poor.
Yeah, we've all been there. We've all been there. D. Dracon says, question of the week, Genshin Impact, and just leaves it at that. Genshin Impact. Troy, I'm going to have you take this one because I have a feeling you might have a little bit of a rebuttal here.
Raggerty says, question of the week. The game I refuse to give money to is Smite. They have awesome skins that they love to hide behind chests with 5,000 other skins. Even when it's a good skin, it's in a box with like 10 others. Though I have given them money, but it was for the God Pack way back in Alpha, Beta, or whatever. The game was in when the pack came out. The God Pack is some of the best money you can give to any game company ever. It's fantastic. The chests, I agree with 200%. I haven't bought a skin out of a chest in, I can't even tell you years, because that is trash. That is a scummy way to do things, especially with all the battle passes and all the other events and crap that they run. Having them in chests like that is complete scum trash.
Zach, go ahead and finish it off.
Guestley says, usually if a game is free to play and I like it and spend a decent amount of time in it, I will buy something in the shop. Most times it's a premium account or something like that, quality of life improvement. I'm not really a big spender when it comes to in-game shops. So I can't really think of a PC game which I like and have spent some time in it and have not bought anything. Then probably my game would be Pokemon Go. I play that game from time to time since it came out and have not bought anything from it, from or in it. Probably because you can get currency from gyms, and if you are active, there's no need to spend money unless you are obsessed and crazy about that game.
Thank you all for answering. Lots of great answers on the question of the week. So we got to ask you two gentlemen. Zach, what is the free-to-play game you've played the most of but never really spent money in?
That's
Maybe
hard
you refused to or whatever.
That's very hard because I put a lot of hours in that that were free. I usually were supported by some press currency. So Genshin Impact's a good example of that. Warframe's a great example of that. At the time when I got my currency from them, it was enough to cover the current shop like fivefold. So it's a lot of the games I did put hours in, I was given currency for already and didn't spend anything extra in them. But if we want to call it free to play, because it technically is, I did play a World of Warcraft private server that I was looking for anything in their shop to spend money on, but I just couldn't. There just was nothing in there I wanted that wasn't extraordinarily expensive, and that was the Ascension WoW private server. So technically that is free to play, and I did spend, I would probably say about like 50 plus hours in it. And it was a very good private server. It had a lot of unique things, a classless system for World of Warcraft. So you're able to mix and match a lot of different classes' abilities. So it made for a very interesting classic experience that I had a good bit of time in. So,
what about you, Troy?
Yeah, that one's tough for me too, because like Zach said, either I usually get compensated with some sort of in-game preview currency, or if I play anything for very long, I usually spend at least $5 in something to grab something I want to make my time even more fun. But probably I think the most hours in the game without spending any money, I think is going to be PlanetSide 2. If you remember way back in the day at Game Breaker, that was one of Gary's team building things. He would get us all into PlanetSide 2 and play together. And I got stuck playing that for a little while, even without him and his friends, and never spent a dime on it. So I guess that's going to be it.
That'll be it. Oh, hold on. Did we actually do that yesterday? Did I forget about that? Did we cover that yesterday? Covered
Oh, no.
DCUO? Yes,
Zach
sir.
played a private server. FBI, open up.
Oh yeah. Hey Q, you can skip DCUO. Jason grabbed it yesterday. I didn't mean to duplicate the assignment today, so you can skip that. Question of the week this week: has Epic gone the smart long game route with the Epic Games Store, or have they gone too deep into the Epic Games Store push, and maybe other items like the Unreal Engine will pay for it? And what do you hate about the Epic Games Store? We're gonna get so many just lots of that. Let us know. Like, honestly, what don't you like about it functionally or anything like that that could make it better to be a more viable competitor to Steam? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget your weekly bombs. Dub bomb for something good, A bomb for something bad in the world of gaming while you're there. And if you have a question for the panel, go ahead and throw it in there, and we'll bring it to next week's show. Until then, Troy, where can everybody find you?
On Twitter at NoobFridge and MMOBomb.com. Check it out.
Zach.
Everyone can find me on Twitter at Healthurian. I almost said my old Twitter handle, or at Healthurious Games. You can also check out Night of the Forgotten Realms Alpha 1 on itch.io.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally right there at magicman1, but more importantly, follow at MMOBomb. Get all the tweets about our free-to-play cast, live streams, free-to-play weekly, articles, interviews, giveaways. A lot running right now, and so much more. Stay safe. We'll see you on the servers.